Hi everyone, I'm John C. Morley, the host of the J Moore Tech Talk Show and Inspirations for Your Life. Hey guys, good afternoon. It's John C. Morley, your favorite friend here and professional serial entrepreneur. It's great to be with you on a Friday afternoon. It is October 25th, 2024. We're getting these shows out earlier and earlier, aren't we? All right, it's great to be with you. But before we get started, we've been starting something new with all our other shows, and we're going to do it with this show as well. Why don't you take this opportunity to maybe go over to your fridge, get that delicious beverage, whether it's an icy cold one or a hot one, doesn't really matter, or maybe room temperature, or maybe even just a sip of water. Either way, go get that, or maybe a healthy snack like maybe nuts, raisins, or some type of fruit, or perhaps something unhealthy, and that could be something like a sweet, a chocolate, right? Or something else like that. Maybe a piece of candy. And now that Halloween is almost here. All right, so go rush off and get that and come on back. Well, we are going to definitely dive deep into tech today. Antitrust showdowns, gaming scams, and the shifting landscape of innovation. Wow, that's a lot of information, everyone. So let's catch the latest episode here today with me, John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur, your host and podcast coach on the J Moore Tech Talk Show, where we dive deep into the most critical tech headlines and trends that are shaping our world. This episode is packed with insights on major legal battles, industry shifts, and the latest buzz in technology. Don't miss it. So come on back from that fridge and sit back and enjoy the show, because we've got a lot to share with you. Of course, you can check out BelieveMeAchieve.com for more of my amazing, inspiring creations 24 hours a day by visiting BelieveMeAchieve.com. Our show title, ladies and gentlemen, today is Tech Shakedown, Google, Gaming Scams, and the Future of Innovation, Series 3, Show 43. Wow, we are almost out of this year and into the fourth year. I cannot believe that, ladies and gentlemen. So it is great to be with you. And let's kick this all off, all right? Again, we're the place where you get unique content. Just visit BelieveMeAchieve.com for that inspiring information. Hot topics covered all the time. So a judge pauses a ruling on Google. A Play Store overhaul, a significant development in the ongoing antitrust lawsuit from Epic Games, has resulted in a judge pausing the requirement for Google to overhaul its Play Store. Understanding this is probably something that maybe is far from your mind, but it's important to understand what's going on. So a federal judge in California temporarily paused an order requiring Google to overhaul its Play Store by November 1st. Following an antitrust lawsuit from Epic Games. The injunction aimed to give users more app download options and payment methods based on recommendations by Epic after a jury found Google had monopolized Android's app distribution. Google argued the changes could harm security and appealed the ruling. While the pause allows time for a review by the Ninth Circuit, the court denied Google's request to delay the order throughout the broader appeal process. Epic criticized Google's arguments as fear-mongering. All right, guys, Google, just because they got some money in their big pockets, doesn't mean that they can do things that are illegal, that are going to harm me or harm you or even harm our society, right? Just because Google has a big name, just because Google has some money, it doesn't mean that they don't have to play by the rules. And I think this is what the judge is trying to share here. Well, Amazon's push for in-office work is here. The CEO of AWS has advocated for a 5-day in-office work week, citing concerns that remote work hampers team collaboration. Exploring this is something that a lot of people might want to know more about, and that's what we're going to do right now. So he said, and I quote, "Quit if you don't want to return to the office." Amazon's AWS CEO Matt Garman recently defended the company's shift to a 5-day in-office work policy starting January, emphasizing its necessity for collaboration and innovation. At an all-hands meeting, he revealed that 9 out of 10 employees supported the policy, through dissenters and, of course, to opt to leave. Garmin argued that a 3-day in-office arrangement failed to foster teamwork and align with Amazon's leadership principles like disagree and commit. The stricter policy, contrasting with tech peers like Google and Meta, has faced backlash from employees who prefer the flexibility of remote work, citing commuting concerns and also a lack of independent support for in-office benefits. So we know where Amazon stands, basically work or pretty much you can leave. I guess they really don't care. All right. And ladies and gentlemen, Meta cracks down again, but this time on employee misconduct. As part of a broader restructuring set of efforts, Meta fired employees found misusing meal vouchers. I'm looking at metal right here, but it's actually the meal vouchers. And taking a look at this, I think this is getting a little bit petty. If you ask me, yeah, it's petty. Meta fires employees for using food allowances on personal items like acne pads and wine glasses. Meta recently fired about 2 dozen employees at its Los Angeles office for misusing meal vouchers intended for on-site meals. Purchasing items like wine glasses and acne pads was just some of them. The meal allowances offered in small offices without food compared to platforms like Facebook and Instagram, which ranked at the bottom with scores of 18.98, 16.51, and 15.84, respectively. The report highlights that platforms like Facebook collect extensive personal information for targeted advertising, increasing privacy risks for users. And experts emphasize that while some platforms facilitate user privacy, many others are designed to monetize user data, making it essential for users to be cautious about their online presence. At the end of the day, it's all about money. We know that. But there are some people that are misusing the funds that Meta is putting out. So let's ask a question. Should your company allow you to expense personal items? Should they? Well, you cannot deduct personal living or family expenses from your taxable business income, of course. But can a business pay for personal expenses? Well, of course, things that are being used to help you do your business. So one person said to me, "Hey, John, are my shoes tax deductible?" Well, if your shoes qualify as protective clothing, quote unquote, slip resistant shoes are certainly protective, and you are required to purchase them as a condition of your employment and not normally worn outside of work. You can deduct the cost of them from your taxes. So again, if it's a protective clothing, great. Then you can. Otherwise, you can't. So the question is, can you write off shoes? The answer is no. You can deduct clothing articles that are, let's say, part of your work environment, like a nurse buys scrub shoes and orthopedic shoes. That's okay. But I don't think you can claim your shoes on taxes. Can I write off my haircuts? The general rule is that personal grooming expenses, including haircuts, are not deductible. So I think that's an issue that a lot of people don't realize, and a lot of companies, it could be something staples that you use. And although that is a tax write-off, I think the big, or is it something that is a problem where people are abusing it? So we're going to have to keep an eye on that as they'll analyze and will analyze what's said and what can be done. But I think it's using common sense, which we all know doesn't seem to exist much anymore. And ladies and gentlemen, the Department of Justice is questioning and considering breaking up Google over an antitrust set of violations. Yes, with allegations of unfair search related practices, the U.S. Department of Justice is weighing in on whether to break up Google and break down what could mean for the search engine giant, a big change in the tech landscape at large. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So when it's very important to understand, what is going on. And I think a lot of people don't really understand, the truth about this, right? And so when we bring out things like, what's happened, why things are happening, I think this can, confuse a lot of people. But the big matter is that these companies are very, very clever, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, very, very clever. And so the U.S. Department of Justice is considering the breakup. They're not saying they're going to do it, potentially separating its search business from its products like Android and Chrome. I think that's an excellent idea. This move follows a federal judge's ruling that Google violated the antitrust laws by using exclusive contracts to maintain a monopoly in search. The proposed remedies could ban Google's exclusivity deals and require a quote choice screen for search engine selection and limit the promotion of its own services. The government also raised concerns about Google's dominance in the AI, artificial intelligence development market, and any final penalties could take years to finalize as Google's plans to appeal the decisions. So you might think, ladies and gentlemen, that Google is winning. But at the end of the day, Google's getting hit below the belt with some pretty hefty fines. And ladies and gentlemen, gaming scamming targeting children. A new study reveals alarming trends in scams within the popular games like Roblox, Minecraft, and Fortnite. And so you're wondering probably, what does all this mean to you or to your kid? Like, what does it really mean? So again, this study on the scams that they were checking out is targeting kids. And the recent report from Mobile Premier League, MPL, highlights the growing threat of gaming scams targeting children, warning that cyber criminals are exploiting young gamers' naivety for financial gain. The study reveals that children are particularly vulnerable to online fraud, with scams leading to risks such as identity theft and cyberbullying. Kaspersky's data indicates over 7 million cyber attacks are related to children's games in 2022, with Roblox, Minecraft, and Fortnite being primary targets for phishing scams. Experts stress the importance of parental controls, educating children about online safety, and fostering open communication to help mitigate these tasks. Wow, ladies and gentlemen, that is a big mouthful. Can you believe that, companies are targeting, yes, industries are becoming vulnerable, okay, very vulnerable to kids' games scams. And you might say, gee, that's crazy. But it's happening every single day. And so the more we think about it and the more that we talk about it, I mean, just alone in the finance industry, just to give you a breakdown, it was 2,645 that there was vulnerabilities. In the casino, 1,182. In shopping, 406. In sports, 216. In gaming, 206. And entertainment, 147. So there are common types of online gaming fraud. Account takeover, ATO. Fraudsters trick players into revealing their login details or exploit weak security systems to hijack accounts. Once they gain control, well, they can steal in-game items or sell the accounts for real money. Phishing scams. Scammers send fake emails or DMs posing as official game communications. And these deceptive messages might offer free in-game items or exclusive content to trick players into entering their login credentials on fraudulent websites. Payment fraud. The scam involves using stolen credit card information or compromised accounts to make unauthorized purchases for in-game items. Chargeback fraud. Players make legitimate in-game purchases and then falsely claim that these transactions were unauthorized to get their money back. This leads to financial losses for the developers due to lost revenue and transaction fees. Virtual item scams. Scammers advertise fake in-game items or currency through unofficial channels. Players pay real money for these items, but end up receiving nothing or worthless substitutes. Match manipulation. Scammers cheat by changing the results of matches, teaming up with others unfairly, or using game glitches. These actions ruin fair play and hurt the integrity of the game. Botting. Scammers use bots to quickly level up accounts and gather items to sell for real. This gives them an unfair advantage and spoils the game for genuine players. Fake currency generators. Scammers often, yes, provide free in-game currency in exchange for actions like clicking on ads. And these ads often contain malware designed to capture login information. Gaming scam cases are all over the place, including one that happened in Singapore. In a recent scam targeting game account sellers in Singapore, victims have been tricked into paying administrative fees via fake online platforms since 2022, and at least 21 victims have collectively lost $86,000. The scammers approach their targets on gaming or e-commerce platforms, expressing interest in purchasing the victims' gaming accounts and providing, of course, dubious URLs that people fall for and seemingly put their information in. The information is scammed, and they're not out of just the game, they're out of money and possibly their identity. So be smart when it comes to online gaming. Enable two-factor authentication. Make sure you know who's actually sending the email, and don't open email if you don't recognize where it's coming from. If you have a question, reach out to the gaming company. They'll be more than happy to answer a question. Did this come from you? Yes or no? And ladies and gentlemen, Reddit and Snapchat were ranked the least intrusive of all social media platforms. That kind of surprised me. A recent survey named Reddit and Snapchat the least intrusive social media platform in terms of data collection. And so that's something that I think is something I didn't expect, ladies and gentlemen. I did not expect that was going to be that way. But, I think the big thing that happens with a lot of people is they use a platform and they don't really care so much about what's going on as opposed to the fun they're going to have. So according to the recent private report from Incogni, it ranks Reddit and Snapchat as the least intrusive social media platforms, primarily due to their minimal data collection, as I said. Reddit scored an 8.9 and Snapchat received a score of 9.99, allowing users greater anonymity and control over their data compared to platforms like Facebook and Instagram, which ranked at the bottom of scores like 18.98, 16.51, 15.84, respectively. And the report highlighted that platforms like Facebook collect extensive personal information for targeted advertising, increasing privacy risk for users. Experts emphasize that while some platforms facilitate user privacy, many others are designed to monetize user data, making it essential for users to be cautious about their online presence. And ladies and gentlemen, tech firms delete Russian drone factory social media accounts in a move to curb war-related activities, or so they say. The tech companies have removed social media accounts linked to a Russian drone factory recruiting foreign workers. This one blows my mind a little bit. I mean, the fact that somebody would do this is just I think it's crazy. So tech companies, Google, Meta, and TikTok have removed social media accounts that are linked to the Russian drone factory after an Associated Press investigation revealed the factory's recruitment of young foreign women to assemble drones for the war in Ukraine. The factory, located in Alabuka Special, which is an economic zone that lured women mainly from the African nations, with promises of free flights to Russia and lucrative salaries, only for many to discover they would be manufacturing weapons. Reports from the women indicated exploitative working conditions, including long hours, inadequate safety measures, and unfulfilled promises regarding wages and training. Although the social media accounts were deleted, related content remains active on Telegram, and unfortunately, the Alabuga recruitment drive continues to use social media to attract workers. So I think this is something that goes back to, the old scam where they say, you're going to make money by stuffing envelopes. Really, you're making money by getting other people involved in the scam. And this is just such criminal activity, and they get young people involved. Oh, you can make $500 a week. Yes, so I stuff 500 envelopes, and if I get 500 other people to start stuffing envelopes and paying the fee, well, then I actually make, let's say they charge $29.95. Well, they say, gee, I'm going to make 50% of that. So if they take, 29, let's say it's $29.99, and I divide that by 2, so that would be $14.99, and I multiply that times 500 people. Well, I just made myself $7,497.50. I mean, that's just criminal the way that whole thing works. I mean, that is really, really critical. And the FTC's click to cancel rule has gotten some additional clarification. The new click to cancel rule simplifies subscription cancellations and demands more transparent disclosures. I think a lot of companies out there think it's okay to just run an FTC thing out there, and that, the click to is going to be fine, and that, if I hide it, or if the link doesn't work, well, then that's not a big problem. So the Federal Trade Commission has finalized a click to cancel, quote unquote, rule aimed at simplifying the process for consumers wishing to cancel unwanted subscriptions and memberships. How many times have you gone to an email and you clicked unsubscribe or cancel, and you got faced with a page that says unable to be found, or server can't be found, or perhaps maybe you downloaded a virus or malware by visiting that site? So this rule mandates that businesses must clearly disclose details about subscription terms, including the end dates of free trials, and requires them to obtain consent before charging customers for auto renewals. The FTC chair, Lena Khan, emphasized that the rule will eliminate deceptive practices that complicate cancellations, helping consumers save time and money. The regulation is part of the Biden administration's, quote unquote, time is money initiative, and will take effect 180 days after being published in the Federal Register. Wow, that is going to be great when that happens. And ladies and gentlemen, Microsoft settles an Activision Blizzard lawsuit. We've been following this for a very, very long time. Microsoft has reached a settlement with gamers who filed a lawsuit opposing its acquisition of Activision Blizzard. And this is something that I think a lot of people didn't think was actually going to win. But the truth of the matter is, the truth does come out. So Microsoft has settled a lawsuit that was filed by the group of gamers seeking to block its $69 billion acquisition of Activision Blizzard, and the video game publisher known for franchises like Call of Duty and World of Warcraft are all under this realm. The terms of the settlement remain undisclosed currently, but both parties agreed to dismiss the case and cover their own legal costs. The lawsuit, initiated in 2022, reflected concerns about potential stifling of competition in the gaming industry due to Microsoft's growing library of titles. Microsoft confirmed that the litigation has been resolved, and marking a significant step in the ongoing consolidation of the gaming sector. Let's hope we don't see that again. These all happen when people start to realize some are making money, and then they think they can scam others. I mean, that is absolutely, when I say terrible, it is terrible, ladies and gentlemen. And the NHTSA investigates Tesla's full self-driving. That's the National Highway Traffic and Safety Administration. They are probing Tesla's, quote-unquote, full self-driving system after reports of crashes in low visibility conditions. And this is interesting, ladies and gentlemen, because, they always blame it on the end user, but now they're starting to realize that it's actually not the end user anymore, and it could actually be the manufacturer. In fact, it very probably is. So again, the U.S. is investigating Tesla's full self-driving system after the pedestrian death in the case of poor visibility. So this is a very interesting thing. They started this because of an incident that resulted in a pedestrian's death due to low visibility. The probe affects approximately 2.4 million Teslas from the model years 2016 to 2024 and aims to assess the system's capability to detect and respond to reduced visibility on the road. The investigation comes after Tesla reported 4 crashes involving factors like sun glare and fog. And critics argue that Tesla's reliance is solely on cameras for hazard detection may not be sufficient as most other companies use additional sensors. The outcome of this investigation could significantly impact Tesla's plan for fully autonomous vehicles. Well, when you market yourself as being like the leader, but then you only do 1% or a third of what everybody else is doing, how can you ever be the leader? It's all about saving money, right? Well, one Alabama man was arrested for SEC social media hacks. An Alabama resident was detained for hacking the SEC's social media, leading to a temporary spike in Bitcoin prices. This is really a weird one, if you ask me, because the fact that people are still doing this, it really just kind of blows me away. But unfortunately, gentlemen, it is out there, and every day we're getting people that are doing things, and it's a really, 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 really big problem. So they're definitely taking a look into this. The hack allowed unauthorized announcements about the approval of Bitcoin exchange traded funds, ETFs, causing Bitcoin's value to briefly rise over 1,000 before the SEC clarified that the account had been compromised. Counsel reportedly used a SIM swap technique to gain access, impersonating someone with account privileges. He faces charges of conspiracy to commit aggravated identity theft and access device fraud. So always use two-factor authentication. As I said to you before, when it's my Facebook account or anything, I always use two-factor. I think I have like 30 or 40 two-factors saved on my two-factor authentication list. And my accounting system actually uses three-factor authentication. So I have to put my email in, have to put my password in. Then I have to look at my phone. So now I put in one credential. I get my phone. After I get my phone, I have to look at it with my eye. And then I have to touch the number it chose and look at it with my eye again. So that's like three-factor authentication. Nobody's doing that, but this is the kind of stuff that you need to be doing. And ladies and gentlemen, the lights are being turned up, or shall we say a little bit differently, at Mets Citi Field with their new light show. It enhances the fan experience, they say. The New York Mets installed a state-of-the-art light show at Citi Field. And this is something, maybe Yankee Stadium might be doing this soon. Who knows? But I think this is really cool, that they did this. So the New York Mets have enhanced the fan experience at Citi Field by installing this, what they call impressive electric light show for their postseason games. Approximately 70 staff members spent over 5 hours setting up 3,500 LEDs, light-emitted diodes, light strips on railings, creating a vibrant atmosphere that complements the game. As the evening progresses, the stadium lights dim and the LED ribbons flicker in the team colors, culminating a dazzling display, as they say, during these key moments. This initiative reflects a broader trend in sports entertainment, where teams like the Yankees and historic venues such as Fenway Park have embraced similar upgrades to energize their crowds. We'll have to check into what they've done next. Collaborating with PixMob, a company known for creating interactive light displays, the Mets have introduced a dynamic lighting experience with effects that can be triggered in real time during the game. That is pretty cool, ladies and gentlemen. When you go to a game, we all love it when they play these sounds and you can get involved and it's interactive. But I think it's cool when a place can actually have effects like lighting effect, certain sounds, maybe even sounds that we see a lot more of this where we're going. But the thing is, people want interactivity, whether it's LEDs in the stadium, whether it's wristbands that are LEDs that light up. There's so much out there. And so PixMob has done a lot. They say you turn live into basically the lived. And they're out of Montreal. Yes, Montreal, Canada. So this is a very, very interesting thing. So they have LED wristbands. They have LED things you can use. They have LED badges. And, of course, they have custom products. LEDs have always been something that most people have been fascinated by. You can even wear a VIP tag, yes, ladies and gentlemen, that has LEDs in it. So this is really cool. And I think we're going to see a lot of this at not just stadiums that are about sports. We're going to see this when it comes to concerts. Now, we've already seen lighting effects with concerts, but I think what's happening now is a lot of these people are looking for ways to get more fans in the seats. And they can. I mean, things like numbers going across, we've heard of the wave where everybody, puts their hand up. Well, now this is like a million times better because now an entire graphic can be put over a whole, let's say, set of fans. This can be done with LEDs in the seats, and there's other ways they can do it too. But I think this is cool. I mean, we've seen similar things like this with the Yankees, and I'm not just talking about one or two lights. I'm talking about some major, serious lights, everyone. All right, so definitely check that out. Get over to Mets Citi Field, and we'll report on Yankees concepts next time because I'm curious to see what they're doing. And Meta announces layoffs at the WhatsApp and Instagram division. More layoffs, they said, are on the way at Meta, impacting its WhatsApp and Instagram divisions as the company continues to realign resources and adjust staffing. Wow, that's just that was just like unheard of. Nobody believed that this was going to happen. But I got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, it's happening, and most people are not prepared for it. They are just not prepared for it. So Meta cut staff, as we said, and the company confirmed that the changes include shifting some teams to different locations and adjusting roles within the organization. Although it did not disclose the exact number of employees impacted, this move follows several rounds of layoffs at Meta as the company continues to adjust staffing levels after aggressive hiring during the pandemic, which included significant job cuts in previous years. And one notable individual affected by this round of layoffs is Jane Machun Wang, a software engineer recognized for uncovering unreleased features in social media apps. Well, this just goes to show you, ladies and gentlemen, with a lot of these big companies, you are just a number to them. Whether you're talking about a big wireless cell provider, you're a number to them. Or your local broadband company, you are a number to them. That's all you are. You're a number to them that pays money. You're an account. It's sad, but that is the truth. So, ladies and gentlemen, an online safety bill update from Ofcom, the Office of Communication. In December, Ofcom will publish new online safety demands for social media platforms as part of the UK's online safety bill. They're going to outline what changes may be on the horizon and let you know where things are going. So definitely stay tuned with us for more insights and stay updated because, there's a lot happening when we think about this. And Britain's media regulator is called Ofcom, and they're the ones that pretty much are the be-all, end-all there in the UK. But they also kind of set the benchmark for places around the world. So this initiative is part of the government's online safety bill, which mandates that tech companies take decisive action against illegal content. Ofcom will require these platforms to conduct their own assessment of risks related to illegal harms within 3 months of the guidelines release. Chief Executive Melanie Dowes emphasized that significant enforcement actions will follow for non-compliance, marking 2025 as a crucial year for online safety. Enhanced protections have already been noted from companies like Meta and Snapchat, which aim to improve user safety, particularly for children. Now, we all know that these companies don't give a rat about child safety. Let's be honest. They really don't care. To them, it's all about money. I mean, if you go ask any company, they're going to tell you they care, right? But companies, I should say most tech companies don't care about kids. Okay. In fact, A lot of tech giants are what they call anti-kids because right now they're fearing what's going on. You might think people are off the rockers, but it's about protecting kids and the infrastructure they're in. So why don't more tech companies get involved? I think it's because they see it as a liability. They've tried to exploit it in the past, and they just want to stay away from kids because they're really afraid of what could happen. And they know that that is lots of money taken out of their pocket. And of course, their long term reputation. So they might not be able to get us much in the future. So when we think about tech and we think about, what can happen, what has happened, even the something simple as why tech execs don't give their kids phone. At the heart of otherwise analysis out there, they are concerned about their kids and the damage that it could cause them. Jonathan Haidt is well qualified in this area, and he studies political and parental and corporate neglect. And he is also a professor of ethical leadership at New York University. He is a social psychologist and author of a number of books which have explored the increasingly fragile mental states of teenagers today. I think what he's trying to tell us is that, you can easily upset a teen and you can just send them off on a track that they're not able to handle as much as when they get older. Why? It's kind of like if you give a kid a baby, a kid a lollipop, right? That's able to have one. And you take that lollipop out of their hand. What are they going to do? They're going to yell, they're going to scream, they're going to cry, they might hit you, they might chase you, right? So it's because they haven't developed the proper ecosystem of how to deal with that loss. And so when teens are, let's say, not getting stroked with, social media gratification, they could potentially become depressed. That depression could lead to them taking drugs. It could lead to them getting involved in illegal rinks that could perform things like crime and, let's say, sexual abuse. That's what could happen. So these tech executives are saying, hey, you know what? I've had enough. And I just don't want to have that fear. So therefore, I'm not giving my son or daughter a phone. It's really simple. So as we peruse through what's going on in the world, and as we are slowly winding down the year of 2024, there's a lot of big changes, ladies and gentlemen, that are going to happen in 2025. And here's the thing. If you're a tech company and you're involved in this space, you better pay attention, because whether you're small or you're large, they're coming after your pocketbooks because they're tired of companies that are being lackadaisical and, let's say, someone that has an attitude that shows pretty much indifference, like they don't care. And I think this is a big problem, not just in the United States, but all across America. It's also happening in many parts of Europe, and even happening in some of these very poor countries. We might say, gee, how can that happen, John? I mean, there's not much they can do. Well, they have cell phones, they have computers, and they still can get themselves into a lot of trouble. So we've covered a lot of topics here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, or today. This tech shakedown is real. This is not a fallacy. This is not something you're going to turn off and it's going to go away next week. Unfortunately, gentlemen, I've got to be truthful about that. It's not going to go away next week. And the reason it's not going to go away is there are always going to be bad actors out there. So you have a duty to protect yourself and the future of your innovation and the innovation at large. I think when we start to realize things like, the judge pausing the ruling requiring Google to overhaul its Play Store, and Amazon's CEO supporting the shift and basically telling, if you don't want to work, you can leave. Meta firing employees. Meta doesn't care about you, whether you work for them or not. Meta cares about what makes them money. And you can be, unfortunately, replaceable. Whether you work for a Meta, you work for a Target, you work for a Nordstrom, you work for any store, you are replaceable. I'm sorry to say that, ladies and gentlemen, but you are replaceable. Just like when you call one of your wireless providers or you call your other type of utility provider, you're a number to them. They don't really care about you, unfortunately. That is a problem. And so when we think about things like, the FTC having to get involved because there's so much deceptive action and people getting fraud uh, placed by links in their email, advertisements that tell them they can buy things for the game, but they're really fraud and fake. And so things that are out there are getting worse, but we as a community, as a population, have a duty to make sure we understand what's going on in our world and why this is happening and how can we mitigate it. We're never going to stop at 100%, but if we can mitigate it, at least we can spread it from going somewhere else. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Mr. John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. It is always such a privilege, pleasure, and honor to be with you on these fantastic, amazing days and nights, whether you're listening to J Moore Tech Talk, you're listening to Inspirations for Your Life, or you're listening to any one of my other long-form or short-form contents. I know that going to believemeachieve.com will not only impact and empower your life to make you a better version of yourself, but it will affect every single person that you come in contact with. Why? Because your energy and everybody else's energy. And unfortunately, gentlemen, you cannot not communicate. I know that's a double negative, but I want to make a point. You cannot not communicate. So if you don't say anything, you're still communicating. So just because you think you're ignoring someone, well, you're still sending a message. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this show. I hope that it has given you some insights of things to be aware of and hopefully some actions you can take and actions you shouldn't take. But the most important thing, ladies and gentlemen, is we talk about the tech shakedown and we talk about the fact that things can just happen. Let's go ahead and make a decision today that we're going to second guess ourselves when we get these things and they seem too easy, or we learn about something that hasn't happened like that before. We're going to do the research necessary. Why? So that we can actually get peace of mind and know that we're able to feel comfortable and that nobody's going to exploit us. Again, you know who I am, but if you don't, I'm Mr. John C. Morley, serial entrepreneur. I hope you guys have a fantastic rest of your day and a fantastic evening and weekend. And I'm going to catch you guys next week. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, this is the last day of October 25th, 2024. I will see you next time for the first time for our show on November 1st in 2024. Have yourself a fantastic day, fantastic evening, and I'll see you guys on another show or another piece of content real soon. Take care, everyone.